live. All right, there we go. I think we're live on YouTube also. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, just getting my first cardio session done. Just got done lifting. I did full body workout, did my sled work. Now we're getting the first cardio session, which again, we do fasted, drink my coffee, do my cardio, chat with you lovely people, and hopefully we get a nice, lively, solid, and productive stream here today. I'm thinking we will. I'm hoping we will. All right. First like is already in. Maybe get my phone going. It wants me to make some lives and reels for my creator badge. So let's get over and let's get that going too. All right. So, all right, Lars. Good morning, Lars. How you doing, brother? You doing good this morning? Just gonna get my other little platform going. Let's triple dip a little bit on this morning. All right. See if we can get a little more streaming going total here. So I'm going to get my Facebook profile. Got to adjust this just a hair, right? And I think we'll be good on that. I'm trying here, guys. So glad you dropped in, Lars. Looks like you were the first like this morning. Appreciate it. So let's run into a little problems with this desk bike. I run out of space really quick on here, but let's get the profile going as well. So again, a lot of my people do chime in for these. A few people do on the profile, but not many. So I got my profile running also. Hey, everybody, the people on there. Just doing some morning cardio. I need to put some reels up for you guys though, because I want some for my rising creator, but I'm just doing my morning cardio, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, everything all at once. Christala says, good morning, coach, new subscriber here. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Always glad to have more people here. It's always a good thing. Appreciate it. Getting some decent views and likes already starting up on the YouTube. Facebook's getting some views in. So looking great, Coach. Wow, thank you. Appreciate it, Philly. I appreciate it. We're just chipping away at the body fat. Of course, I've added more salt, so the scale's not going down if anything is going up. But I'm trying to hydrate and keep as much sodium and potassium in as I can for the training load. I did some box jumps today too. So we're going to I just only filmed one set, but I did some box jumps today, did sled work. So we're continuing to implement more of these things that we've talked about. Good morning, Paul. Paul's one of my clients. How you doing this morning, Paul? Carol, I appreciate the likes. I'm also streaming on Facebook. Marco, is it true muscles start to atrophy as soon as 2 days after a stimulus? No, I don't think so. It's not 2 days, dude. It takes several days. It takes like a week. That's a point of major contention, though. Right. That's a point of major contention. I mean, 2 days, we're still inside the growth window. So why would we be atrophying during the growth window? That doesn't make a lot of sense. I'd like to see the data on that. I'd like to see the source of that information. All right. Probably enough for the profile. Just need to make sure we get something up. Mainly because I need to have reels. All right. We need to have reels. So, but no, Marco, I'm not quite sure where you heard that, but I'm going to say probably not. It seems very unlikely. Billy says 150 pounds. Well, I'm going to recommend that you slowly bulk, Billy, right? Chad, good morning, Coach. How you doing this morning, Chad? Sorry, guys, I'm getting my reel done for this first little bit for the profile. And Chris Beardsley claims growth window is up to 48 hours. As soon as the growth window ends and muscle fibers that don't receive stimulus slowly start to atrophy. I suppose it's possible, but I'd like to see some hard data on that. But here's the thing: what are you going to do about it? Plenty of people on lower frequencies still gain muscle. So even though this may be mechanistically happening, is it really the end of the world? Like, do you really think, let me put it this way, Marco, have you seen people get bigger and stronger doing one workout a week? The answer is yes. Obviously, we've seen plenty of people do it. So while this may be happening, triple dip, and you're right, Brian, we are. Thank you, Carol. Appreciate the like in here. So, the question becomes, do you truly have a major practical application for that? I've had people who could literally only work out 2 days a week. Perfect example, like the weekend situation. He's still making some progress. He's getting a hair stronger, still only training on the weekends. Right? That coffee cup is huge. Yep. It is absolutely a massive coffee cup. I drink a lot of coffee, though. It works great for me. All right. So then, we really get into questions, Carol, of optimizing muscle growth with something like that, I suppose. You could make a case for that. But again, I think it's going to be so minor that I really don't think it's going to be the big factor that you think that it's going to be. Otherwise, everyone would just do full body 3 days a week like I'm doing now, and that's how everyone would train, and no one would make progress on other stuff, but they do. How hard to become 180 pounds lean? 180 lean is going to take you many, 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 many years, Billy. Let's just be realistic. That is a very long-term goal. It's not that it's hard. Being consistent that long could be hard, right? Marco says this point is that higher frequency is better, but lower frequency still works because you still gain more muscle from the single sessions within the week than how much you atrophy. Yeah. But, the point I would make, Marco, it is kind of tit for tat. Keep in mind, I train in the manner that we're describing, what he was saying with the higher frequency. Like right now, I train that way. I promoted that way years ago, shifted to other stuff through the years. But I've kind of come back around full circle to the same thing that he's talking about doing. And I enjoy it and I think it works well. But, realistically, what I will say is if you don't, even if we say, hey, it might be 1% better, it might be what he's trying to say, right? From a mathematical perspective. But if you don't enjoy it, and it's not the way that you enjoy training, is that 1% going to be worth it if you're going to be consistent and put more effort into something that's different? Mustafa, I'm doing good, man. How are you, bro? I'm streaming on both platforms here. So, now if that data is true, of that point, and it might make a small difference, and I used to claim that it did, then by all means, it makes a lot of sense to train in the manner that even I'm doing right now, right? Where I'm just doing full body Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then minor stuff between. I did some band work yesterday for biceps. I do some slugs on some of the other stuff, right? So, I think Beardsley would agree with how I'm training, right? But are we going to stand here, though, and say it's really the only way to train? No, definitely not. Notice I'm playing devil's advocate here. Like I'm still pointing out that technically I'm doing what Beardsley says you should probably be doing also. But I'm still going to say that it really isn't the only way. Cheryl says that video about natural bodybuilders and athletes generated many views, great content. Yeah, it definitely did. If all my stuff got that many views, it would be good. In terms of pure enjoyment, what is your favorite way to train? Paul, I really don't know. That's one reason I adjust stuff. Sometimes I get a little stale and I like to adjust the different types of splits I've done in the past, just, for the enjoyment. But I actually like even what I'm doing now. Like I really do like the full body. As long as I'm not obsessed with trying to isolate every muscle, I can really enjoy the full body like I'm doing. But I do like just coming in and going heavy on my big three. Like for pure enjoyment, my favorite way to train is to just move heavyweight for singles on those movements and I just don't like doing reps on squats and deadlifts. If I'm going to be perfectly honest, I enjoy the heavier work. I enjoy doing stuff that feels more athletic. That's one reason that's always pushed me away years ago from too much of the bodybuilding type work. I enjoy feeling functional when I'm training. That's why I'm really liking just doing the heavy stuff and then a bunch of bodyweight things and then, doing curls at the end. If we train and exercise, I like bench or squat 2 or 3 times a week. Will we get overuse injuries one day? Depends, Scott. I'm technically doing the big 3 days a week. I think it's going to be dependent on your tendon health, your technique. You know, are you grinding stuff with bad form? Are you loading everything at good angles? Like your concern is not always the big lifts themselves. Honestly, a lot of overuse can come from a smaller movement sometimes. I mean, we see overuse on machines all the time. We've seen guys get hurt. So I think with a lot of it, it's going to come down to total volume. It's going to come down to how many bad form reps you grind in a bad angle. I think those are big factors in overuse. You know, and I think that's where we really run into problem. Are you coming in and doing a heavy 3x3 on them multiple times a week, and are you grinding final reps where form degrades anywhere? You're going to run into overuse a lot faster. Makes sense? So I think a lot of where we're getting the overuse is when we put stuff into angles that are problematic and grind too hard at those angles, and we ego lift a little too much. I think we put tendons at disadvantaged angles and positions, joints at disadvantaged angles and positions. Too much load too frequently with too much volume. But volume itself is a major factor in overuse, and you have to keep that in mind also. So, you know, again, a lot of points of contention in there. So it really isn't a straightforward, hey, you're going to run into this problem. I mean, you might be able to bench every day, but the issue becomes, you know, how much work are we doing? Do squats make you jacked? Yes, squats can absolutely help make you jacked. Usama said I did my sets of 3 reps on the squats today. A week start, but I'm going to improve. There you go. We'll build them up from there. What sort of weight did you use though, Mustafa? Gym dress codes are getting outdated lately. What? I wouldn't know what gym dress codes are like these days, honestly. Most gyms just don't want dudes to be shirtless and stuff, but some gyms don't care. Depends on the type of gym. So gym dress codes are going to vary tremendously depending on where you live and what type of gym it is anyway. So I'm not really sure what you're saying. I've known serious strength and athletic type gyms and stuff like down here where dudes are shirtless and everything just because of the heat. It's hot, it's humid, they're sweating. It's a serious gym. So, you know, this really depends. But I don't recall knowing of too many gyms out there with actual dress codes, so I'm not really sure what you're getting at. Okay, not really sure. All right, what else we got going on here, guys? The other thing I would say, Paul, for someone who's really serious with a lot of stuff too, as far as enjoyment, really I try to enjoy whatever training style I happen to be doing at the moment too. You know, I'm going to have a little bit different mindset than the average person because to me, I'm pretty serious about all this, so that's going to adjust it somewhat. You know, whereas in a person who is not necessarily, this isn't their profession or they're not a competitor, the enjoyment factor is going to be a bigger deal. Do you prefer upper, lower, or full body? Marco, I don't have an answer to that, honestly. I'm not sure what the answer to the question is, honestly. Do I prefer? I usually prefer whatever I'm doing at the moment. So what am I doing at the moment? That's how it works. If that's a fair answer. I think that's a fair answer. Do you enjoy what you used to do, or do you enjoy what you do now? Well, I usually enjoy what I'm doing now the most. At any given, that's going to be the answer at any given week or month or year, right? Let's say, guys. Mark says, let's get rid of that nonsense. So anything else happening here, guys? Let's get some actual real topics, more topics going on. I feel like that's a hard to whatever. Wait a minute. Hold on. I just caught that. I like the programming you designed for me because there isn't too much variation, so I can see the progress and I don't get injured. There we go, Paul. And so that people know what Paul's talking about. Paul's doing one of my dad bod transformation type programs. We do a 3-day push-pull legs. Coach, you drink tap water. Is it safe to drink for hydration? Yes. There are some influencers saying to drink Pellegrino only. Yeah. I know Kinobody only drinks Pellegrino. He flushes its whole up with it. Hey, Leo, I really get tired of answering that 5 times a day. I'm not even going to bother. You already know from the start of the stream every time. Sorry, I get kind of tired of answering that 10 times a day. I will only answer it 3 times and that's it. All right, so we're not answering it again. All right, next. No, I drink tap water. I add stuff to it, little flavoring, some potassium. Wealthy Cord, appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for the donation. Good morning, Coach. Just got to the gym trying to keep losing weight and building strength. Hope to start ice cream fitness next week. Awesome. You're going to do the 2.0, right? I think we talked about that in the stream before. Awesome, man. Appreciate the super chat. No, Leo, I'm not under 210. Right. I've been upping my electrolytes more and more and more. Not even worried about dropping water. I just want to get leaner. I'm focused on the performance. Like I feel like I need to just stay as carved up and as sodium and potassiumed up as possible to keep my energy turnover higher, and the scale will eventually come down. Right? But I don't want to compromise performance by trying to drop water weight. Macro split last week, 252 grams of protein. There's no way you counted your macros to the exact gram. That's just a ballpark. 75 grams of fat, 2,700 calories. Felt great. Stay extremely lean and strong. Let's achieve our dreams today, my brother. Awesome. I always remind guys, though, keep in mind, because sometimes people get a little obsessive with the macros. So just a heads up, and I always warn guys, you're never going to count the exact gram. Your scale and stuff isn't going to be accurate in that. It's plus or minus 10%. So 252, grams of protein is somewhere probably between, 230 and 270, 275, But I've seen people who take it to the next extreme of these. They start posting their macros and they'll be like 150.5 grams of carbs. I'm like, dude, no, just stop. The channel makes full circle now. It's again bare bones training plus athletic. But yeah, tracking is necessary. A lot of times tracking depends on what we're doing. But yeah, if you're wanting to, hit exact shifts in body weight like that, yeah, tracking becomes essential. Do I need to track macros as a beginner or just cutting the junk? No, Felty, you don't need to track macros. A lot of people never need to track macros, Felty. A lot of people just eat clean and fit and they just get leaner and more jacked every single year. There's plenty of people who do it that way and they don't track. So it depends upon what it is you're trying to do, Felty. For you, definitely as a beginner who's needing to lean out, just eat really clean, cut out all the junk, and you'll probably start losing weight no matter what. I mean, I didn't track anything when I lost my first 100 pounds when I was younger. I just ate healthy and did all my running, and I lost the first 100 pounds without even knowing how many calories I was eating. Bob Marley keeps deleting comments, so I'm going to assume he's a troll. I want to start wrecking because I didn't see what he wrote each time. Let's just get rid of him. All right. I want to start wrecking what pace weight is a good goal. Russell, I can't set you a goal for that. I don't know how in shape you are. I don't know anything of your whole lifestyle and backstory and what you're doing. How about you just start and build it up gradually? Right? Like no one's going to be able to give you, it's just going to be arbitrary if someone throws you something. So why don't you just start rucking and just build it? And base it upon where you are right now in your fitness level. That's encouraging. Felty says encouraging. I was eating fast food and drinking alcohol every day before, so I feel better just cutting that out so far. I mean, that's a good start, dude. That's a good start. You know, you'll reach a point where as far as tracking, it's going to depend. It's going to depend on, you know, if you stall or not. Like if you get to a point where you're just eating really healthy and you still haven't dropped the weight you want to drop, right? Haven't dropped the weight you want to drop, then you may have to start tracking. Thoughts on Matt winning? I don't really want to start fights about other coaches and YouTubers. There are things that Matt does that I like. But then we have this stuff of the fake doctorate and all this nonsense he pulled. It's not a good look. And I can say that while still respecting a lot of his work and respecting his accomplishments. But Matt went too much, let's do everything behind paywalls and sell everything. And then that whole fake doctorate was really, it wasn't a good look, right? So I don't know what to say about that, really. Just saying that wasn't a good look professionally. Doesn't mean that I'm not a smart guy and not strong, though. You know? That's called being intellectually honest. Admitting that someone strong probably has some good, a lot of his stuff I disagree with. A lot of his stuff is really good. But I can also step back and go, man, that's a bit of a problem, dude. I mean, let's be fair. I mean, people have criticized me for way less than faking a PhD. You know, just saying, I've caught hate for way less than literally faking a PhD on the internet for credentials. All right. So that was a bit of a snafu. I don't know. Take that however you want. It's like, brother, why'd you need to fake? Like, you're doing really well with the business. I don't know why you needed to fake a PhD. It's like, dude, come on. But that's drama stuff. Let's get over to fitness. Thank you for welcoming me as a beginner. Hey, Felty, you're welcome, and thank you for the super chats, man. Imagine the heat you would get. Like, dude, imagine if I faked a PhD. Leo, I'm never doing the breakfast chat series again. I hated it. I've told you guys repeatedly, and people have said, yeah, you could tell. I did it because fans asked me to do it, and I was extremely uncomfortable and felt that's the most awkward I've ever felt in my life on camera, is eating on camera. I felt really awkward. And that's the first time in my life I've ever felt insecure on a camera, ever, as far as YouTube. I'm never doing it again. Yeah. And even people who are fans at point out, we could tell that it was awkward for you. Like I didn't like it. The fans were requesting it, and I'm like, I'm just not doing this. You know. You know. So you're not going to see a return of that. I don't want to eat on camera. I mean, I guess I would for a couple $100 as like a fan service, OnlyFans type thing. You want me to eat on camera for $100 or something? Headed to the gym now. Have a great day, everyone. Awesome. Take care, Felty. Go get in there, man. Coach, you think in our weighted pull-ups we should start plain and then add weights? What do you mean? Well, yeah, you need to be able to be strong enough to do your body weight before you add weight. Yes, I'm on a bike. Russell, I'm on my bike, dude. I'm on a desk bike. I have my webcam, my keyboard, everything set on the bike desk, right? So the webcam and everything is set on the desk of my bike. I have a bike with a desk for a laptop. So you guys have seen the bike before. I've shown it to you. Like when I used to do these with the phone instead of the desktop, I've shown you guys me pedaling on the phone. But now I do this so I can stream on multiple platforms. It lets me do Facebook and YouTube all at the same time. So yes, I'm on a recumbent desk bike. Well, those old videos where you saying I just destroyed the fitness injuries happening again and again. Right? I mean, some of them I did again. Like look at the whole ones I've made about the natural bodybuilder one, about the guys in the gear. I mean, let's just be realistic. I mean, when we're at a point where we're literally calisthenics athletes have just as good of upper bodies as national level natural bodybuilders who are actually heavily tested, we're kind of realizing a lot of even the bodybuilding mumbo jumbo is not all it's cracked up to be. The dudes are doing dips and pull-ups and handstands and have just as young of an upper body. Just saying, guys. I mean, in the session, like warm-up sets and go straight to weighted pull-ups. I guess that's going to depend, Frederico. Yeah, if you feel that you need a bodyweight set, go for it. Sometimes I do a bodyweight rep. Today I didn't. I just threw the plate on and started doing the pull-ups. But I already did squat, bench, deadlift, weighted dips first. Right? Cool. I want to set up a treadmill in front of my TV. There you go. Well, it's not a zit. That's psoriasis, dude. That's my skin. It's not a zit, dude. It's the reason I shave everything. When I'm losing weight, my psoriasis gets even worse. When I'm in a deficit for some reason, it just goes crazy. What? I mean, the podcast you did during the breakfast chatter. Oh, okay. And then your training videos, his background are great too. Awesome. Still chat room. What? All right. How was your workout today? Mine was tiring. Only got 6 hours of sleep. Still managed to do better than last time though. No, workout was actually good. Had a really good workout today. I did some box jumps today too. All right, we're going to start jumping, doing the sled work again. Going to keep working on more and more athletic stuff. You know, as I work on getting leaner, I'm going to work on more athletic stuff. We're not just doing list cardio. We're doing sled. I finally worked some box jumps in today. You know, we're going to work all this stuff in. I'll eventually start jogging also running again. So, but I need to get a lighter body weight and all that stuff first. Right. You know, if we're going to pursue true health and fitness, you know, right? If we're going to pursue true health and fitness, we need to be athletic, right? It's not just the looking good, but we need to look good too, guys. So that's what I've been trying to say with all this stuff. You can focus on all these things, guys. You can have all these things at once. The old school guys all did. They were all athletic. They had great physiques. They were strong. They were healthy. They were jacked. We need to return to that. That's fitness. Is that zone 2? I have no idea. I don't know what the zones are. Right? Yeah, Russell, I don't know what the zones are. I don't care. I don't even know how many zones of cardio there are. I don't even know who made up these categories. Do speech box squats and sweep pulls work without bands and chains? Yes, they can absolutely work without bands and chains. All right? Can absolutely work without bands and chains. Yeah. Like, I don't know who created these zones And I don't know if they're an official thing somewhere. I just really don't care. I just know it's something some people came up and talked about on the internet. We have zones of cardio. I don't know if some personal training association made it up, if some PhD made them up. But people seem to talk about them, and I really don't care. Right. Any other GPP work you would recommend for someone like myself who isn't able to pull a sled? I do tons of walking, but that's this. Feed me. No, I don't because I don't know what you have access to and what you can do and can't do and what your limitations are. I mean, loaded carries, different types of swings, barbell complexes, right? These are all GPP. Some sort of farmer's walk or loaded carry is GPP, right? These are all options that you have. What do we got? Oh, we got some questions on Facebook finally. Rosie says, any good running tips? I'm not an expert on running, to be honest. I'm not an expert on running. It's not my forte. I used to do running, but I was self-taught. So I'm not sure what we're looking for running tips. I'm going to probably start running again soon, but I will say the shoes you get probably matter. Your gait probably matters, right? You may want to go do a little reading up on gait online on some running forums before you start running. Would be a good idea. All right, so Jason, what's the body weight? It's not down, dude. We're not down at all. And I'm not worried about it. I've been increasing my sodium and potassium and stuff. And by the way, I'm not going to answer this more than 3 times in a day, but just a new person on a new platform. People ask me this 10 times a day, every day. I'm not down any, and that's okay. I'm not worried about it. Just keep doing the fasted cardio, keep the diet clean, let it keep just working down over time. All right. As long as we keep getting leaner. But I've been adding more salt, and so that's going to also slow it. Trying to stay as hydrated as possible. More so. All right. Leo says, would you do it without bands and chains, give inferior results using bands and chains? Bands and chains do help on the speed work, right? They do help. You're asking, would I still do it? Well, it depends on what we're doing with the training. Are you running conjugate? Then yeah, I would still do it. Let me be clear, Leo, outside of a conjugate type rotation, I never program speed work for anybody. But if you're doing conjugate, then yeah, you should be doing speed work, right, on your non-max effort days. And I've done a lot of videos explaining why it's rotated in and how it balances on conjugate. Like I've got highly detailed videos on the why. But I don't program speed work at all, generally for my clients who are not on conjugate. But a lot of it literally has to do with the way that you recover and creating a synergy with your max effort days. So the question isn't, should you do speed work if you don't have the bands or chains? The question is, are you going to run conjugate involved without bands and chains? And I think he still has his place. I've had clients who do really well on it. But some of them still manage to acquire some smaller bands and hook them to a dumbbell and at least add something sometimes over time if they were a conjugate. Marcinio, if you get down to 200, would you be adding more cardio to cut down? Probably no. I'd be probably just trimming a little bit of calories out. Like adding more cardio to what I already do. I did 4 hours yesterday. I mean, there's a point where you go, Marcelio, should I go to 5? I mean, there's limits. Realistically, it's just going to be, lowering calories a little over time if I need to. But I'm still getting leaner. The waist is getting smaller, so that's all I care about. But eventually, yeah, it's going to have to break, and I will eventually adjust calories further or food intake. Because I'm still going over on my calories a lot of days. I'm still going to be in a deficit, but I'm trying to get the appetite back under control. So whenever I start losing weight, a lot of times my appetite gets insane. We have to learn to just be comfortable being hungry, which that can be the hard part. Like for me, only eating 3,000 calories of whole food is really, really hard. I'm used to eating way more. And I think that shocks people. They're like, how is your maintenance that high? Well, look how much training and stuff I do. Like to me, 3,000 is just, it's taking a while to get used to trying to hit that low of a calorie consistently. Even eating 60, 70 grams of fiber a day. Because I'm used to like 4,000. Kind of became my normal for a long period of time. But, keep in mind, I used to be well over 300 pounds. Like I used to eat 7,000 calories in a day when I was younger. That's why I was fat. Right? It's nonsense when people are overweight and you're like, but I don't eat that much. I'm like, yeah, you're lying to yourself. I'm saying that as somebody who's been over 300 pounds. No, you're eating 6,000 calories. Can root vegetables be your staple vegetable food, sweet potatoes? I mean, yeah, they can be. It's just a pain to cut do them by themselves. I almost need rice with them just for the convenience. I work pretty hard in rice and potatoes, and I'm doing a lot of potatoes. I need to up the potatoes. That'll help more. That's the tidy index. Chicken, rice, and sweet potatoes. I mean, that's a good setup. I was doing that for a little while. I like white potatoes more. Not only do they taste better, they're probably a hair more filling. Less vitamin A though. Maybe a little less certain antioxidants. More vitamin C though. But that satiety index is so good on a white potato. And they're literally cheaper on top of it. That's why I always laugh when people are like, eating healthy is expensive. Like chicken, rice, and potatoes is pretty cheap, guys. Potatoes are very high in vitamins and minerals if you get enough of them. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's why you're seeing my posts on Facebook of people sitting there coming in arguing, eating healthy is expensive. It literally isn't. It literally isn't. Like eating junk food literally costs more than eating healthy. But people don't know what eating healthy is. That's the problem. They're focused on healthy TM. That people have literally been tricked into believing organic food is more healthy. There's no evidence for that. Sorry, the evidence doesn't support that. That's a scam. It costs more because it's a less efficient processes. But there's not actual evidence that it's healthier. But people will pay more, but then they'll go, oh, well, eating healthy is expensive. I'm like, dude, chicken, rice, potatoes, vegetables is not expensive. Quit buying the expensive vegetables. Look at what costs what and go, hey, man, I would spend 20% of the money on this vegetable versus this one, and it's just as healthy. Like it's literally making a choice. Like it really is not more expensive. It really isn't. I love sweet potatoes. I love you doing a kilogram a day. Yeah. There you go. Frozen chicken breast from Costco is cheap. Yep. I mean, hey, Paul, let's come over. Chicken breast is cheap. We could trim all of that out and say chicken breast pretty inexpensive. I mean, really, vegetables and stuff will be the thing that adds up, but it's not. I mean, even then, it's not that much, and I eat pounds of vegetables a day. But I think even then, when we think of protein sources, when we realize we've been over pushed, that we need more protein than we really do to gain muscle and lose fat. I think that's a factor too. When guys think they need need 250 grams of protein a day and they're not buying the cheapest sources on top of it, sure, it might seem more expensive, but they also don't need that much protein. Plenty of guys can become jacked bodybuilder size on 150 grams, you know. Well, that might save $50 to $100 a month on their food bill. You know, people are talking about it being too expensive. Well, that will trim your money now. Need 150 grams of protein. Healthy fats and carbs just cost less. And even guys who need to eat a ton to gain weight, you know, it's like, and rice and natural peanut butter are not very expensive dudes. And that's what they're missing too. It's like $3 of natural peanut butter, you can easily top, you know, 3,000 calories right there. All right. I like frying drumsticks. But cheaper is much the only food I get saturated fat from. Yeah, I mean, you still need to keep up with that total saturated fat, but perfectly reasonable. But again, we also have to go, how much of it are we really eating? You know, that's a factor, isn't it? You know, peptides are good. My preference, what a strange comment. You know, peptides is an enormous category, and some peptides are notorious for making appetite go through the roof. So why would you say peptides are good for curbing appetite, when there are literally peptides that people can't tolerate because they eat 10,000 calories every time they use it? So that's a strange comment. I don't think you know that much about peptides. I know a lot about peptides, but I think they're relatively obsolete with the price of growth hormone these days. A lot of them are. Now, man, a lot of GHRHs or GHRPs, like GHRP6, GHRP2, they cause insane appetites. A lot of guys get an insane appetite increase from OK677. So what are you talking about, my brothers? There might be some peptides that curb appetite, like GLP-1s. But you can't say peptides, because there are peptides that are associated with doubling the amount of food that you're going to want to eat to be satiated. Like you're going to have to add 2,000-3,000 extra calories a day just to get your hunger in check, which are great for guys who are struggling to gain weight, like really big bodybuilders who are stuck at 220. That's why they throw some of those in. But I'm not using any of that stuff right now. Not really interested in using any drugs for this cut. All right, let's do this cut pretty much natty and just get leaner. So much more sustainable too, right? Way more sustainable. But I think you're meaning these new GLPs as far as that goes. Yeah, they do. They do curb appetite. That's the primary mechanism by which they're causing weight loss. People are simply eating less. It's removing their cravings. And that's what's interesting. It's like I'm choosing not to use them, even though I've come out and said, look, I think that they can be good in the right context. I think they're a net positive. That upsets people. And I've said that, yet I'm choosing not to use them, because I know that I can do it without them if I need to. Like I can do it without it. I've done it before. I lost 150 pounds using literally nothing when I was younger. I can cut without any cutting drugs. Using that cutting drug called diet cardio, you know. That fat burning stack right there, baby. Diet cardio. And any other questions, guys? Oh, feed me. Let me ask you, you're going to laugh at this sweet potato thing. I don't actually like sweet potatoes. I do them because they're really healthy, and sometimes I'll work them into my diet with the brown rice because they're super healthy. They work together, and I don't like them that much. But I'm less likely to overeat them. They're okay. I'm just not a huge fan. But I've learned how to make them really delicious if I want to. It's just they take a little work. Yes, for people noticing that humming, this is my bike making that sound. So there's going to be mechanical sound. Plus my fan is getting noisy again too. It's all of it. I've got kind of a filter set up here that takes some of that out. And it got dead here for a minute. It got real dead chats. Everyone kind of went silent on me. What's going on, guys? Anything? Yeah, we'll get the vlog up here later. Get the shorts up. I haven't even chopped all the vlog yet. I need to get that done. So we'll get that sorted. But we got to get all the cardio done first. At least part of it, then I'll get that sorted. Maybe do the second while food's cooking. But the second cardio will be good. It'll probably interfere with the start of the feed window, so it'll force me to go longer. Right? So we can get the calories a little tighter that way, maybe. It's just a thought. But yeah, we've had no questions in a few minutes. Anything over here on Facebook? No, Marcelo's not in anymore. So what else do we have? I'm trying to see if there's any other comments I could re-answer his questions or topics. Because I need to be lively. Like when I get slower like this, people drop out, but then they're not asking questions to keep me in the flow. So definitely though, I've been working the other athletic stuff back in. So that's going to be an important part of what we do here in terms of overall fitness. So you guys will see, like I've started adding the sled work in a couple of weeks ago again. Now I added some box jumps back in. So we're going to do a little bit of jumping. We're going to keep adding more and more athletic stuff as I go. Because I do want to be, let's focus on athletic aesthetics. Let's get lean, let's get jagged, get a good physique, but we need to be strong, we need to be athletic, we need to be conditioned. Right? These are the hallmarks of fitness, right? The stuff that we want to do. So it's funny to me when I also see the hate that I'm doing a lot of list cardio, but I'm also doing higher intensity cardio on camera. I'm doing heavy lifting, I'm doing rep work, I'm doing stuff as high as 10 or 12 reps for certain movements. But I'm also doing heavy singles, as far as the lifting goes. For the cardio, we're doing both types. I'm doing sled work that's more intense, and I'm doing list cardio just to burn calories and create endurance. Started adding the jumping in. So what I'm really doing is a mix of all of it, as these all have individual health benefits. They all have individual performance benefits. And so that's something I had said a while back, the focus needs to be more well-rounded fitness. But that builds great physiques too. You can have great physiques and be lean and be well-rounded. I mean, I think CrossFitters kind of prove this. Go look at the CrossFit Games, a perfect example. Lean, fit, strong, jacked people who are conditioned and well-rounded. I mean, that really is fitness. And that's more of a throwback to what old school bodybuilding was like. I mean, seriously, serious CrossFitters are closer to the old school bodybuilding and physical culture than modern bodybuilding is by a mile. And I think there's definitely something to be said for that. If we're going to talk about being fit if we're going to claim to be fit, well, that's what fit is, right? Well-rounded. You should look good. You should be strong. You should be conditioned, right? You know, you should be able to squat. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what truly insanely fit is. I don't know, squatting 500 pounds, having a six-pack, and having a decent, 5K time, being able to go up a flight of stairs without being winded. Like that's fit. Having good blood work to go with it, right? Having good blood work to go with it. That's what fit is, And that's a lot of the ideals that I want to promote more and more and more these days with what I do online, right? That's what I'm trying to promote more of. And so, I have to do that myself. We can't just promote it and not make an effort to do it. All right, lead by example. Lead by example. That's what we have to do. That's what we should do. I'll probably chill this at the hour. How much fruits and vegetables per day should I aim for optimal health? Okay, Marco, you're not going to like this answer. As much as you can. Like, do you want a research-driven scientific answer? There is no upper threshold. This is what the leading experts in nutritional science are saying based upon the research. They don't think there's an actual upper threshold. The upper threshold is, I don't know how much can you afford, how much can your stomach and gut handle before it becomes uncomfortable. Those are your upper thresholds. Dean, we're not live a whole lot longer, but we are live. You missed it. You could have gotten a super chat fight. One guy dropped a couple. Dean, super chat battles, those are hilarious. I love that. For me as a person who gets the money, of course, I love that. I think it's funny, but it's great. I'm definitely not complaining, but I'll do another one of these later too, but I don't think I'm going to run this past about the hour. I might a little bit if it really picks up, but it's slow. Like there's not enough years for me to just stay after it. And I know I got other stuff I can do and then come back and do another one. Yes, Dean, we are definitely live. But your light came in just now, so I appreciate that. But Marco, there's no upper threshold, And keep in mind, we're talking antioxidants, as this stuff from Whole Foods. Don't supplement them as individual ones. That's the same experts who tell you there's no upper threshold of that will tell you that supplementing a single antioxidant could actually cause cancer. Like just pure vitamin C or vitamin E actually isn't good. But when you're getting 37 different antioxidants in a vegetable, see what I mean? And you're eating a variety of them, there's a synergistic effect between eating a variety of them in large amounts. But there's no upper limit. That's like asking what's the optimal amount of money to have in your bank account. Well, you're going to reach points of diminished returns as far as getting more in there. But are you ever going to say, well, I don't want any more money in my bank account? And it's almost, that's a good way to look at it. Probably unlikely to ever really be in that situation. Very unlikely to be in that situation. Oh, now the live views are picking back up here. They dropped down to 4 viewers for a minute. Like, what happened? And now we're coming back up. We started off decently strong this morning. Started off strong. All right, pick the pedaling up because I don't know that I'm going to run this much longer. Getting a little tired for this cardio because I trained and did sled work already today. I did squat singles and sleds today before this cardio. And I'm still going to probably need to work another one in later. But it got really slow here at the end of those comments. We were getting some good questions earlier. 30 minutes ago, there were some good questions in here. I had some in the Facebook, and then they died out too. What you gonna do then? All right, let's see if we can get a few more minutes. The last comment there was, Dean, we are live. We are live, Dean. Dean, are you still in here, man? You came in, said that, and disappeared on me. You disappeared on me, Dean. We didn't see Rufio or Peppermint or any of them in either. That's strange. They're usually my morning. They're my walk-in morning crew in my early days, the non-lifting days. All my regular Brits who come in. I didn't see any of them today. So the next one I do here later, I might need to kick it to the community tab. I do the second cardio session because we need to do a second one, honestly. All right. The more less cardio, the better. Just try to squeeze it all in. So trying to pedal a little faster as I wind this one down. But my legs, like I said, the legs are a little tired there because I did the sled. The sled didn't feel bad today, though. I'm getting more adapted to that sled work. It's honestly getting a lot easier, which means I'm going to need to add more and more rounds as it gets easier. I feel like I'm getting good squat carryover too. I'll see how the jumping works into that also. As I work more box jumps in, get more plyometric work. But I tell guys that too, that you can build your squat off of sleds and jumps significantly. I would never undervalue their carryover to a big squat. Right? They did it at Westside. Even Chad Wesley Smith that says it, who doesn't even like Westside. You know, as long as you're still doing some heavy squatting, you could even box squat there and get that. But I'm like doing the old school. I'm just doing classic stuff right now for the heck of it. Not that I don't believe in box squats. I like box squats still. Box squats are great. But yeah, I mean, really, you could box squat, jump, and do sled work and still have a massive squat. But that's its own topic, right? It will still build a big squat if you do those things. You guys watched me do that a while back, getting back to 500. I was just doing boxes, and I was like, "You can't do 500." Then I walk over to do 500. Like, what are you guys talking about? Came in and just walked 500 pounds after doing nothing but box work. But yeah, no, I feel like the slides carried back over to my squat again on this cut. I feel like the jumping will probably help too. Get more speed, more power out of it. So we'll just keep moving along with it while we're cutting, getting leaner. I mean, I think that would be really cool if I get to 190 and still squat 500 again and bench 365 or something at 190, close it in 50. I think that would be cool if I can pull it off. Let's set the bar high, right? I think setting the bar high can be good. Then it feels good if you achieve it. You set the bar high, even if you fall short, you know, you still reach something good. But if you do set the bar high and you actually reach it, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Wow, I really pulled that off. What? That's a different level of you know, stuff. But even then, if you set the bar kind of high and you fall a little short, you still know you did pretty good, you know. So I think there's something to that sometimes. You know, setting the bar high gives you something to really aim for, which is always nice. All right, try to get this to the hour. It's only another 20 seconds. Make sure the Facebook already reached the hour because it started sooner. Facebook already reached it. So let me go ahead and end the Facebook. I love you guys on Facebook. I'll catch you next time. What are we doing on YouTube? All right. So no one else is commenting. We reached the hour. I love you guys. I'll do another one of these here later this morning.